Children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in prison.
I call it godlessness. I think people are losing their relationships with God and they no longer care about the natural structure of things. Hey, what's up, you all? Welcome back. I'm Van and we are all the LFR family. Much love to you all. Thank you so much for clicking play. Hopefully you click that like button as well. I just now came across a video that is of interest to me because it says Black America needs fathers are needed and necessary in order for these youngins to completely turn around their mentality. All right. First of all, I was raised by my guardian since the age of 5. I didn't have a father in my household at all. I didn't have a father in my household at all. Sorry if I was looking down the entire time. I'm so used to daggone. The camera was down there at first and now it's up there. So my bad. All right. Again, I'm van.hall Sr. Family and God comes before any and everything. I'm a father of 4. And for me not to have had any type of guidance on how to be a father, what a father looks like in my home on a daily basis, and not even really in our neighborhood too much. Shout out to my man Burry, whose father was in his life. Shout out to my man Sam, whose father was in his life. Shout out to my man Va, whose father was in his life. You know what I mean? Much love to them and for their dads contributing to their upbringing. Shout out to my man Ty B and everything. But I didn't have that experience whatsoever. My big brother Donnie, he filled in for that role. You know what I mean? My big brother is also my cousin. My guardian is my first cousin. She's blood of the actual Hall family that I was, that my father, was born into. Saying all that to say this, being a father is my number one whenever it comes to what I'm capable of doing, the knowledge that I have and what I can extend to other people so that they not have to deal with whatever I dealt with, but so they can also look beyond any type of hardships and struggles while trying to raise a strong, productive, God-fearing family. Because sometimes, man, us guys, man, we just got to put our head down and do the work. We got to put in that work. And guess what? When it comes to our children, it's extremely important that we put in the work up front, during, and the back end, all of that, all over their lives, man. Because when they step out here in this mean, cruel world that will try to eat them alive if they don't have any foundation on what it means to be a young king out here or a young queen out here. These youngins, they need to know, and they need to have dads in their lives, man, not just sperm donors, not just somebody who come around every now and again to smash their moms. You know what I mean? Sometimes it be like that. I get it, but it wasn't like that for me. When I got my wife pregnant the first time when we were going away to college and my pullout game failed, you know what I mean? She was like, when she told me that she was pregnant, I said, well, most young fathers say, I said, so what you going to do? What you going to do? I was with whatever she decided to do. And I was actually leaning toward, not being ready to have a child. So she probably going to go to the clinic or something. I don't know. That was our first time doing it, but she decided to have the baby and have my first baby girl, Naya. And after we got our first apartment and everything, she just let me know straight up and down, I'm not going to be a baby mother. You going to marry me. You know what I mean? That's what's about to happen. So we went ahead, we got married, man. And I took this job extremely seriously. All right. I wasn't the best father. I wasn't the best husband, but I still took it seriously, man. I tried my best. And that's all you can do. This video right here, I know I talked a whole lot, but this video right here is seems like it's going to be something extremely important. It's called Black America Needs Fathers. There's nothing else to say about that, but let's see exactly what it's about. Okay, let's get into it.
Hey, we're here with y'all. We're here to help. All right? Okay? Okay? It's all right. We're all here together, okay? All right?
Down at 16 is come up with a better way. Because how we doing it, it ain't working. He angry at 46. I'm angry at 31. You angry at 16.
It's over,
You
man.
understand me?
It's over.
Putting yourself in harm's way is not the way.
No, it's not.
That's love right there. That passion that he's putting, that's love right there. Young man, you don't know what you're headed toward. You're upset for what reason. And it might be a valid reason. But at the end of the day, where it's headed, where it's guiding you, that not being able to train that anger, not being able to hone that anger, not understanding what you need to do with that energy, you're going to do something wrong with it and end up paying for it with your life.
You and another your counterparts the same age and that has that same power. Y'all come up with a better way. Because we ain't doing it.
Oh my God.
Years ago, I interviewed Kwesi and
Larry
Fumi,
Elder.
then the president of the NAACP.
I still don't understand why black people don't fool with it. Yeah, I do. I get it. I'm not even gonna lie. I understand why black people don't like him. It's because he's holding them accountable. He's holding them accountable, and he's sometimes seem like he don't understand the plight of the African American. Trust and believe me, if you're one of those people who believe that about Larry Elder, and I'm talking to the black right now, if you're one of those people who believe that he don't care about black Americans, you got him sadly mistaken. This dude absolutely cares. Anyone that holds you accountable and are that passionate to have you understand what's really going on around here, even if it means that his own character, if people look at him differently or if they're judging him and he's completely ostracized from the community, he's still gonna put that information out there with the same vigor, the same unapologetic attitude that he moves with. I just keep on forgetting stuff. Okay, let's go.
As between the presence of white racism and the absence of black fathers, I asked him, which poses the bigger threat to the black community? Without missing a beat, he said, the absence of black fathers. It was President Barack Obama who said, we all know these statistics, that children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in prison. The Journal of Research on Adolescence confirms that even after controlling for varying levels of household income, kids in father-absent homes are more likely to end up in jail. And kids who never had a father in the house are the most likely to wind up behind bars.
When me and my brothers were young, we used to do some dumbest stuff, man. We would go and pull on everybody's car doors to see whose car doors are open. If your car door was open, we would go in and try to see if there's any type of loose change, any type of dollars, any of that. We was just, oh my gracious, we were ridiculous. Then we found a whole bunch of bullets one time. There was an underground wooden playground. Because it was like 2 stories below the sidewalk. It had no roof. You had to climb down there on a ladder in order to get down there. Or you had to go all the way around through these double staircases. You walk down and then you walk down again, then you go inside of it. And a lot of people, it was a lot of dangerous stuff that happened down there because couldn't nobody see you down there. And, a lot of people stayed away from it if it was dark time. If it was nighttime outside, most other people didn't play down there. Me and my brothers, we loved to play down there. It didn't matter. But we took a whole bunch of bullets down there that we found in somebody's car and we lit the bullets on fire. And they started ricocheting off of everything, shooting it, boom, and we ducking it. We didn't know how stupid we were being at that moment, that could have potentially been our last play date. Our last play date, bruh. Think about it. But we used to do little stuff like that. One time we actually got shot at going to somebody's car. But one time our big brother, Al, who was our cousin, Donnie, one time I was out with some friends before we were able to get my other brothers to come live with me. And I was out with some friends and it was like in the middle of the night, you know what I mean? And we were in a Maryland neighborhood because we are all from DC. We were in a Maryland neighborhood and we was, trying to steal cars, use the pop lock, device that you put on steal cars and whatnot. And we actually did. And I got in the house really late, like in 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I couldn't have been more than 11 years old. I couldn't have been more than about 11. I'll say 12 at the most, but I'll say 11, I believe. And I got in the house and my brother was there, but my guardian was not because she worked overnight cleaning up the hospitals. And when I got in the house, my brother had me stand in the corner all night for the rest of the night. Oh, you want to be outside? You was doing what? Okay, you call yourself stealing cars? I bet. Go ahead and get in the corner. Stand up. Don't touch the wall. Matter of fact, put one of your feet up. Hold one of your feet up while you standing up against the wall. While you standing over there. All night. Not all night on one foot, but all night standing up. I'm glad that he did that because he let me know that he actually give a crap about that. Yeah, you're going to be tough and you're going to get into the fights and all this other stuff. You're going to know how to use your hands. But when it comes to that, nah, you let them other youngins do that stupid stuff. You won't be a part of that at all.
In 1960, 5% of America's children entered the world without a mother and father married to each other. By 1980, it was 18%. Ooh. By 2000, it had risen to 33%, and 15 years later, the number reached 41%.
I call it godlessness. I think people are losing their relationships with God, and they no longer care about the natural structure of things, the nuclear family, none of that. I think people are becoming, with freedom comes selfishness, and most people are for self, the further we move ahead. Like nobody wants to think about doing anything for anybody else or tying themselves up to one person, so they just want to give themselves to everybody as much as they possibly can. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world, but hey, I understand though. I get it. I absolutely get it. I mean, I don't get it at the level that they understand it, the people who live in that way of thinking, because I've always been married since the age of 20, been married since the age of 20. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it is what it is.
For blacks, even during slavery, when marriage for slaves was illegal, black children were more likely than today to be raised by both their mother and father. Economist Walter Williams has written that, according to census data from 1890 to 1940, a black child was more likely to grow up with married parents than a white child. For blacks, out-of-wedlock births have gone from 25% in 1965 to 73% in 2015.
Hey, that's that freedom. That's that freedom, that entitlement. That's that freedom. That's that freedom. Beat 'em, beam, bum, bum, beat 'em, bum, bum, beat 'em, beat 'em, burn. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. That was the Fred Sanford and Son theme, but I don't know what made me say that. But at the end of the day, that's the liberties, that when we got liberties and we can do whatever we want, that's exactly what we do. We test that free will thing to the limit. We push it to the limit. We get real selfish, man. It's no longer about community anymore. It's all about what I want. I'm gonna go over here and put a baby in you. Go in there, put a baby in you. I'm gonna go over there, put a baby in you. I'm gonna go over there, put a baby in you. Like, and over and over and over again.
For whites, from less than 5% to over 25%.
Yeah,
and for Hispanics, out-of-wedlock births have risen to 53%.
Yep.
What happened to fathers? The answer is found in a basic law of economics. If you subsidize undesirable behavior, you will get more undesirable behavior. In 1949, the nation's poverty rate was 34%. By 1965, it was cut in half to 17%, all before President Lyndon Johnson's so-called war on poverty. But after that war began in 1965, poverty began to flatline. From 1965 until now, the government has spent over $20 trillion to fight poverty. The poverty rate has remained unchanged, but the relationship between poor men and women has changed dramatically. That's because our generous welfare system allows women, in effect, to marry the government. And this makes it all too easy for men to abandon their traditional moral and financial responsibilities.
And I already know some people are going to stick with that. It's the system. They put us in this. They set it up this way. It's all a part of their plan. I mean, it was only 300,000 people overall that was in the prison systems. Now it's 2 million, and half of those people are black men. Why is that? It's that way because we were set up to be that. They didn't want black men to be in the families. You know what I mean? I hear all of that and I take it all into consideration. That was actually a huge debate that we had over my house for Thanksgiving this year. That, along with the fact that I'm leaning conservative with my political views, and that, you know what I mean, if I'm having a black Thanksgiving, then you already know it ain't gonna be no leaning right types. But I like to start conversations just so I can sit back and watch everybody else go back and forth with their pieces. You know what I mean? And they was giving some good things from both sides, representing the liberals and representing the conservatives. We had a couple people over here that I didn't know would represent the conservative base. And I was just sitting back like, yo, okay, this is actually pretty daggone good. Okay, can we stop now? Let's get back to watching the Skins get beat up by the Cowboys. But yeah, I understand that the system part.
Psychologists call such dependency learned helplessness. How do we know that the welfare state creates disincentives that hurt the very people we're trying to help? They tell us. In 1985, the Los Angeles Times asked both the poor and the non-poor whether poor women often have children to get additional benefits. Most of the non-poor respondents said no. However, 64% of poor respondents said yes. Now, who do you think is in a better position to know? Tupac Shakur, the late rapper, once said, "I know for a fact that had I had a father, I'd have some discipline, I'd have more confidence." He admitted he began running with gangs because he wanted the things a father gives to a child, especially to a boy: structure and protection. Your mother cannot calm you down the way a man can, Shakur said. You need a man to teach you how to be a man.
Facts. Or You can teach yourself how to be a man. Most of us don't have that discipline. We have way too many things taking our minds and attention away from what's important. So we most certainly, it would be much better off if we had that male, that man, especially our own fathers, if it's our own father. Because some people fill in the void, they fill in the gap, and they get the job done. Sometimes it's a coach, you know what I mean? That's why a lot of these single mothers like to put their children, their kids in some sports, and sometimes they still don't do their jobs as parents to make sure they're watching and complete attention to the relationship between that adult and your child. So some things get dropped and, you know what I mean, lines get crossed, unfortunately. But when people try to depend on just a other man to step into the fold and do what the father was supposed to do, some good things get done because they have that male structure and they have that male guidance and they have that discipline from a man and that voice, and they understand that this man could be dangerous without him even being that way. He could be a puppy dog. He can be like a pushover, you know what I mean? Either way, he had that potential of danger because he's a man, and a lot of children will listen to that. But it's so much better when it's the father who, because he has a natural connection with his children. And if he does not, he builds one by being around them, by doing what's necessary in order to take care of them. But I can't say what Tupac said to be 1,000%, because I also know for a fact that sometimes an absent bad parent is actually better than a present bad parent. Like, be absent from me. Don't share all of them bad habits with me. Like, everything that rubbed off on you that made you the deadbeat that you are, if you're going to be here and you also aren't going to have the discipline to keep that under wraps but not pass it on to me as well, then you might as well stay gone. And everything after that is speculation, us believing that we will be stronger, we will be more confident, we will be more intelligent, we will be tougher, we will be, you know what I mean? It's so many things. It's wishful thinking, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, people still call Pac, although he was raised only by his mom, they call him the most influential, the most impactful rapper to ever be in the, black rapper of all times. I'm talking about top 10. So if you're able to do that and be that impactful with just a single mom in your home, bruh, clearly you did not need a father. You were strong enough. And this is an outlier, complete anomaly. I'm not saying this should be the case for anybody, but obviously Pac was able to tap into it and take care of himself and do what he needed to do in order to be that man that he needed. All right. Did he do some foolish things? Absolutely. Was he part of gangs and committing certain crimes and all that? Probably so. Allegedly. I don't know the dude. But at the end of the day, I know how people revere him, how people look up to him, how people consider him. People still put respect on his name as if he's still alive, as if he's in the room. So if that's what you are, you know what I mean? Sometimes we just need to realize and recognize what God created us for. Like, what are we here for? You know what I mean? And once we do, we're in a better situation, period. I don't care who you are, where you are, you know what I mean? But I am still with the fact that a man, a husband, you know what I mean? Your dad, who's also respect my mom and love my mom enough, married her, and y'all raised me together. That just brings so much love and protection and warmth into a household. So most children, I don't know if any child will want that. I do believe that all children deserve it because no child asked to be here. All right. That was that mom and that dad that decided to do whatever they did. And the child was here. Okay. And some of them came by really bad situations. We all know, and I'm not even going to mention it because that's just a painful thought that a lot of you have gone through. And I don't even want to open that can of worms, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. All right. But at the end of the day, as long as we have our eyes open and we're still talking to God, man, we have a relationship, we'll be protected. Our Father in heaven will protect us, and He will show us the way and give us all of the things that are missing in our lives. Anything that we're void of, we will receive exactly that and then some.
In my book, Dear Father, Dear Son, I write about my rough, tough World War II Marine Staff Sergeant dad. Born in the Jim Crow South of Athens, Georgia, he was 14 at the start of the Great Depression. Growing up, I watched my father work 2 full-time jobs as a janitor. He also cooked for a rich family on the weekends and somehow
He was a
managed to
hustler.
go to night school to get his GED.
He was a
When I
hustler,
was
bro.
10, my father opened a small restaurant that he ran until he retired in his mid-80s. He was never angry or bitter and insisted that today's America was very different from the world of racial segregation and limited opportunity in which he grew up. Hard work wins, he told me and my brothers. You get out of life what you put into it.
That's right.
You can't control the outcome, but you are 100% in control of the effort.
That's right.
And before blaming other people, go to the nearest mirror and ask yourself, what could I have done to change the outcome?
And hey, let me tell you something. All fathers won't pass on that information. Fathers with that wisdom, fathers with that character, fathers with that integrity, fathers with that work ethic will pass that information on. Selfless fathers will pass that information on. Selfless, you know what I mean? Because they want to see you win the same way that they did, but they don't want to give you everything. They want you to work for it. Go get it. This right here, I love it because, everybody's not going to tell you that. So yeah, black fathers are needed, but black fathers just need to be there and be willing to do the work, to do your part. That's it. You don't have to do anything all phenomenal, raise up a doctor, engineer, lawyer, all of that. You ain't got to do all that. You just got to be there for your family, bro. That's it.
This advice shaped my life. Fathers matter. Until we have a government policy that makes that its first priority, nothing will change. I'm Larry Elder for Prager University.
All right. So as y'all saw, man, I think this joint was absolutely phenomenal. As I said before, not all fathers will have that impact on their families by simply being present. Sometimes an absent parent is better than having a present parent who's going to continue to feed you bad habits and bring nothing but darkness and death to your doorstep just with the power of their tongues. Sometimes they don't believe in themselves and they will instill that into their families, or they will be there and just destroy the other parent, abuse the other parent, and do worse things on top of that, and just constantly show the kids through experience of them witnessing a trash father trying to raise them but don't know how to do it. And sometimes, man, we don't know, but at the end of the day, we need to have a connection with God and believe not only in ourselves, but we have to believe that we were born in his image and we are destined to do some phenomenal things. But we need to continue to talk to him and know what's real and continue to pass that love and joy and peace on to other people at the same time.